In the vast expanse of the galaxy, where stars are born and civilizations rise and fall, the twin planets of Aleria and Zanthe orbit a shared star, a binary dance of contrasting worlds. Aleria, with its sleek metallic cities and advanced technologies, buzzes with the hum of machines and the glow of computer screens. In stark contrast, Zanthe thrives with verdant landscapes and deep spiritual traditions, its inhabitants living in harmony with nature, their temples carved into the living rock of towering cliffs. Amidst this celestial ballet, the UHS Concordance, a vessel of human ingenuity, and the spearhead of Earth's exploratory fleet, pierces the void. Commanded by Captain Elena Stroud, a paragon of human resolve and diplomatic finesse, the ship's mission is clear: to forge peaceful relations and explore these newly discovered worlds. Accompanying her are First Officer Liam Kyle, whose logical mind and strategic acumen are as sharp as the edge of a knife, Chief Cultural Officer Dr. Maya Voss, whose empathy and understanding of alien psyches are unmatched, Ambassador Jackson Pierce, a man whose charisma could end wars, and Science Officer Raj Patel, whose curiosity and zest for discovery embody the spirit of their mission. As the Concordance enters the orbit of Aleria, the crew prepares for first contact. Their approach is watched with wary eyes by the Alerians, who view the arrival of this new species with a blend of curiosity and suspicion. The Alerians, having long stood on the precipice of technological singularity, find the humans' blend of emotion and logic both primitive and fascinating. On Zanthe, news of the humans' arrival stirs ancient prophecies and spiritual debate. The Xanthians, deeply connected to the rhythms of their world, sense in humans a kindred spirit, beings of flesh and blood, with an innate capacity to bridge divides, yet also a people wielding the power to destroy or heal. As the ramp of the UHS Concordance lowered onto the gleaming surface of Aleria, the air was charged with a palpable tension, a mix of anticipation and the unknown. Prime Minister Virek, flanked by his advisors, stood waiting. His appearance was striking, with luminescent tattoos indicating his high status, pulsing softly with a rhythm that seemed synced to the very heartbeat of his planet. Captain Stroud, followed closely by her diverse crew, stepped forward, her expression composed, her gaze steady. "Welcome to Aleria, Captain Stroud," Virek's voice resonated, not just through the air, but directly into the minds of the human delegation, showcasing their advanced communication technology. "We hope your journey was as enlightening as your stay here will be." "Thank you, Prime Minister," Elena replied, her voice firm yet open. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." As they were escorted through the city, the Alerians showcased their technological marvels: cities that floated, vehicles that defied gravity, and machines that seemed to anticipate needs before they were even expressed. However, as they sat down for discussions, the tone shifted. Virek spoke of Zanthe, the twin planet visible in the sky, its green surface a stark contrast to Aleria's metallic sheen. "The Xanthians," Virek began, his face hardening, "are a people ruled by their emotions. Their irrationality has led to centuries of conflict, threatening the stability of our star system." The crew listened, absorbing Virek's perspective, but reserved judgment. Liam noted the strategic implications, while Maya pondered the cultural misunderstandings that might be at play. The following day, the Concordance made the short journey to Zanthe. The Concordance's descent onto Zanthe was a stark contrast to their arrival on Aleria. Here, the lush greenery enveloped them, a vivid tapestry of life that seemed to pulse with a rhythm all its own. High Priestess Alara awaited them at the edge of a clearing, her presence as serene as the verdant landscape that stretched out behind her. Her greeting was warm, her voice carrying the melodious quality of the natural world that surrounded them. "Welcome, travelers from Earth," she began, her eyes reflecting a depth of wisdom and peace. "We have awaited your arrival with great anticipation." As the crew followed Aleria through the winding paths of Zanthe, she spoke of the planet's deep spiritual connection to nature, of rituals and ceremonies that celebrated the cycles of life and death, growth and decay. "The Xanthians," she explained, believed in living in harmony with their environment, their technology woven seamlessly into the natural world, rather than imposing upon it. The conversation inevitably turned to the conflict with Aleria. Aleria's tone grew somber. "Our differences with the Alerians run deep," she admitted. "They see our connection to nature as primitive, our spiritual practices as irrational. But to us, their reliance on technology has severed them from the essence of life." The crew listened intently, their mission's complexity becoming ever more apparent. It was not merely a matter of brokering peace, but of bridging a chasm of misunderstanding and mistrust that spanned centuries. As they reached the heart of a sacred grove, Aleria gestured to the towering trees around them. "These are the elders," she said. "They have stood witness to the ebb and flow of life on Zanthe for millennia. They remind us that life is a cycle, one that requires balance and respect." The visit to Zanthe revealed a world where spirituality and nature were intertwined, where the inhabitants saw themselves as part of a larger whole. It was a perspective that was both alien and deeply familiar to the human crew, resonating with their own planet's diverse cultures and beliefs. As the Concordance prepared to depart, Captain Stroud reflected on their encounters on both planets. The task ahead was daunting, yet she felt a spark of hope. Humanity, with its unique blend of logic and emotion, might indeed be the key to healing the rift between Aleria and Zanthe. The challenge was to find a common ground, a way to celebrate the strengths of both worlds and weave them into a tapestry of peace. The journey back to the ship was contemplative, each crew member grappling with the day's revelations. They had seen the beauty of Zanthe, felt the depth of its people's connection to their world, and understood the magnitude of what was at stake. The conflict was more than a dispute over resources or territory. It was a clash of ideologies, of ways of being. Back aboard the UHS Concordance, the atmosphere was charged with a new sense of purpose as the crew delved deeper into the complexities of the Alerian-Xanthian conflict. Dr. Maya Voss, in her relentless pursuit of understanding, spent hours poring over the linguistic data collected during their visits. It was during one of these sessions, deep in the labyrinth of alien syntax and human neural imaging, that she made a groundbreaking discovery. "Our neural architecture," Maya explained to the team, gathered around the holographic display of a brain scan, "is uniquely equipped to process both Alerian and Xanthian languages. It's not just about the words, it's about how their thoughts and emotions are structured. Our brains can intuitively navigate the emotional resonance of the Xanthians and the logical constructs of the Alerians." This revelation was more than scientific, it was the key to unlocking peace. With this new understanding, Ambassador Jackson Pierce stepped forward to spearhead the diplomatic efforts. His approach was not just about negotiation, but about demonstrating the unique human capacity to empathize and rationalize simultaneously. Jackson arranged a series of meetings, first with the Alerians and then with the Xanthians, using the Concordance as neutral ground. "See us as a mirror," he urged both parties in the opening session. "Humanity stands before you as proof that two seemingly opposing forces, emotion and logic, can not only coexist, but synergize to create a balanced and thriving society." His words, carefully chosen and delivered with the persuasive charm he was known for, began to soften the hardened stances of both alien factions. The discussions were tense, fraught with centuries of bias and fear. But slowly, the ice began to crack. Meanwhile, Science Officer Raj Patel made his own contribution to the peace efforts. Diving into the ancient archives of both planets, He uncovered a series of historical transmissions that had been misinterpreted over time. What Raj Patel uncovered in the ancient archives was not just a revelation. It was a catalyst for change. The historical transmissions, once thought to be declarations of war and betrayal, were, in fact, miscommunications that had been twisted by time and prejudice. These documents, some encoded in the complex algorithms of Aleria and others in the symbolic imagery of Zanthe, told a story of a shared heritage, a time when Alerians and Xanthians had worked together, their strengths complementing each other to achieve wonders neither could alone. Armed with this knowledge, Raj presented his findings to the crew, his excitement palpable. "These aren't just old messages. They're the key to unlocking peace," he explained. "Somewhere along the line, their meanings were lost, giving rise to centuries of conflict based on a foundation of misunderstandings." The crew, inspired by Raj's discovery, rallied around this new strategy. It was decided that this historical evidence would be the centerpiece of the next round of peace talks. Ambassador Jackson Pierce, recognizing the delicate nature of this revelation, prepared meticulously, choosing his words with care to ensure that both sides could hear and accept the truth without feeling threatened or dishonored. The next meeting was held aboard the Concordance, a neutral space that now felt charged with the potential for historic reconciliation. Jackson began by acknowledging the deep-seated grievances and fears that had fueled the conflict. Then, with a gravity that underscored the moment's significance, he unveiled Raj's findings. "As humans, we've learned the hard way that history, when misunderstood, can become a prison," Jackson said. "But today, we have an opportunity to reinterpret that history, to unlock the chains of the past, and to forge a new future together." The reaction from both Alerian and Xanthian delegates was a mixture of shock, disbelief, and, ultimately, cautious hope. The evidence was irrefutable, the implications profound. Here was proof that their ancestors had once seen each other not as enemies, but as allies and friends. In the days that followed, the atmosphere aboard the Concordance shifted. Skepticism gave way to curiosity, hostility to tentative dialogue. Delegates began to share their own stories, their cultures, and their dreams for the future. Humanity's role as mediators had evolved. They were now facilitators of a rediscovery, a reconnection between two peoples who had been brothers and sisters before they had become foes. The human crew, with their unique blend of emotion and logic, had managed to do what no other species could: turn the tide of a centuries-old conflict, not through force or cunning, but through empathy, understanding, and the relentless pursuit of truth. The Gemini Paradox, as the conflict had come to be known, was unraveling, revealing not a tale of inevitable enmity, but a testament to the power of communication, reconciliation, and the shared desire for peace. The first session was initiated by Captain Stroud, who addressed the gathered Alerian and Xanthian leaders. "Today, we stand on the brink of a new dawn," she began, her voice steady and reassuring. "The discoveries we've shared show us that your ancestors once worked together in harmony. It's time we restored that unity." To demonstrate humanity's unique position as mediators, the crew proposed a joint mission involving representatives from both Aleria and Zanthe. The mission's goal was to stabilize a volatile meteor storm approaching the twin planets, a threat that required both Alerian technology and Xanthian environmental strategies. As the teams worked together, human crew members showcased their ability to balance logic and emotion, making critical decisions under pressure while ensuring all voices were heard. The successful mitigation of the meteor storm served as a powerful metaphor for the potential of unified efforts. With the immediate crisis averted, the mediation shifted back to the Concordance. Dr. Maya Voss facilitated a session where both sides were encouraged to express their fears and aspirations. As the Alerians and Xanthians opened up, sharing their perspectives. The humans' empathetic responses and logical reasoning helped each side see the other in a new light. Ambassador Jackson Pierce played a crucial role in these discussions, guiding the conversation towards a focus on future prosperity and the mutual benefits of peace. His diplomatic skills shone as he helped each side navigate the complex web of their historical grievances towards a shared vision for the future. The final session was marked by a ceremonial exchange of gifts between the Alerian and Zanthian leaders, facilitated by Captain Stroud. Each gift was chosen for its symbolic representation of each culture's strengths and the promise of integration rather than division. Science Officer Raj Patel presented the final piece of the puzzle, a detailed plan for a shared governance structure that included a bi-planetary council. This council would oversee joint ventures and ensure that the interests of both planets were balanced. Raj's presentation included data-driven projections of the economic, social, and environmental benefits of a lasting peace. In the Grand Hall of the UHS Concordance, a historic moment unfolded. The leaders of Aleria and Zanthe, once divided by centuries of conflict, now stood side by side, ready to sign a treaty that symbolized a new era of peace and cooperation. The document, crafted with contributions from both worlds and the mediating touch of humanity, was a testament to the possibility of reconciliation and unity. Captain Elena Stroud and her crew stood as witnesses, embodying the role of guarantors for the peace that was being forged. As the signatures were etched onto the parchment, a wave of applause erupted, not just within the confines of the ship, but across the twin planets, where the ceremony was broadcasted live. Humanity, with its unique blend of empathy and logic, had facilitated a peace that had once seemed an impossible dream. As the celebrations continued, the crew of the Concordance began preparations for their departure. The mission, which had started as a diplomatic endeavor, had evolved into a monumental achievement that would be remembered throughout the galaxy. The twin planets of Aleria and Zanthe, now united in their pursuit of a shared future, expressed their gratitude in a ceremony filled with cultural displays and heartfelt speeches. Ambassador Jackson Pierce, reflecting on the mission, remarked, "We came as explorers, but we leave as friends, having witnessed the birth of a peace that will flourish long after we are gone." The crew, touched by the outpouring of appreciation, realized the indelible mark they had left on the twin planets. News of the successful mediation spread across the galaxy, with humanity celebrated as the race that brokered peace where no other could. The story of the Gemini Paradox and the role humans played in its resolution became a beacon of hope, showcasing the potential for understanding and unity in a universe brimming with diversity. As the Concordance set its course back to Earth, Captain Elena Stroud took a moment to reflect on the mission. Standing at the helm, gazing into the vastness of space, she pondered the journey that had led them to this point. It was our humanity, our ability to empathize with others, to balance emotion with logic that made this possible, she mused. The mission had not only changed the course of history for Aleria and Zanthe, but had also reaffirmed the essential qualities that defined humanity. In a galaxy filled with incredible beings and technologies, it was our most basic traits that made the difference, Elena thought. As the stars streaked past, Elena felt a profound sense of pride in her crew and her species. The Gemini Paradox was resolved, not by showcasing superiority, but by embracing the very essence of what it means to be human. The mission had been a reminder that in the vast, often divided galaxy, humanity's greatest strength lay in its heart and mind, working together to forge paths to peace. With a sense of accomplishment and anticipation for the next adventure, Captain Elena Stroud ordered the Concordance forward, into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with the same courage, empathy, and logic that had guided them through the Gemini Paradox.